Welcome. I see some people popping in. You found our Factor 8 sales shot. We're going to get started in just 1 minute. In the meantime, open up your chat. We're asking everybody their favorite condiment, not condiment, spice or seasoning. What do you go to if you're cooking or adding something, maybe something that's been cooked for you? We've got some cilantro. Garlic has 2 votes now on literally everything. Have you ever tried garlic ice cream, Amy? Like, it's a thing. Yeah, I know. I love garlic, but I'm just not sure I could do it in an ice cream. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, we're going to get started, everybody. Welcome. Hi. You found the Factor 8 sales shot about getting promoted in sales. These are secrets about what managers are looking for, what skills you need, things we've collected over working with thousands and thousands of all different kinds of sales reps around the world. And we're going to share what to look at and what to do to help you rise faster. My name is Lauren Bailey. I'm the founder of Factor 8 and Girls Club. And I've been a sales leader and an enablement leader and now a training provider via Factor 8 for BDRs and AEs and account managers and sales managers for, oh my goodness, I'm not even going to age myself, but a long time, folks. I've trained thousands of folks around the world, and I'm here to share some insights with you. Let's get you promoted faster. I'd like you to open up your chat for me, please. And if you haven't already, tell us your very favorite go-to spice or seasoning. Whether you're cooking or adding it to something else or something you're looking for on the menu, warm up the chat fingers because I'm going to love to ask you some questions along the way. Are we ready to get started? As folks are still jumping in and joining us, let me first, if you haven't been with us before, we do these sales shots every month. There are subjects for sellers, there are subjects for sales managers, there are subjects for enablement leaders as well. So what's coming up, this is an important one. If you're a BDR SDR right now, we have another session for just about getting promoted to AEs. We're doing that under the umbrella of the Girls Club, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. But that's happening in just a couple days. And I'm not sure if we have a short link to that or not, because it's really hard to type all of that in. And if you have it, there you go. You can at least hit it in the chat. But I'm going to have a VP of sales join me, and we're going to talk specifically about things to do to hasten that promotion, BDR to AE, because it's such an important one to keep us involved in sales and growing our careers. Then in October, we're going to look at getting deals moving, how to speed up the pipeline, because we need that for the Q4, making our number and getting the commission check. And then also in October, we're going to do a session for enablement leaders looking at how do we budget and what are we going to do for next year when it comes to sales training. I've been on both sides of that, the person spending the money and the vendor, and we'll share some tips. Okay, are we ready? Oh, I'm loving these spices. Mags, coriander and cumin are not common, I have to say, right? Like you're somebody who loves a curry, and I'm loving it. You don't see that a lot. And Sandra with the ginger, loving your work here, folks. Are we ready? All right. I would love it also if you would for me chat in like, what is your role right now? And that'll help me know who's with me. So where to focus, because we're going to cover a lot of roles and we're going to move fast. All right, here we go. Sales shot number 1. We love racking up the shots. Oh, Michael's a technologist. All right, cool. Shot number 1 is I want you to feel great about being in this virtual role, being an inside, whether your team calls it inside or digital or virtual or tele, whatever it is, as long as it doesn't say field seller, or even if it's just sales, build your careers here. This is the most important shot. Stay and build here. Don't run from it because there's so much room to grow. There are lots of careers and lots of paths and tons of jobs in this virtual role. We can be BDRs, AEs, we're going to cover all of the different titles, but don't always be thinking about getting out. Stay here and master it. And here's the why. Inside sales, whatever your company calls it, is growing a lot faster now than outside sales. And look at this stat that I'm going to give you. Started in 2018 when they started measuring it. What do you think the number is? How many times faster does inside grow over outside? Tele versus field. Anyone want to guess? I love seeing all of my different positions in here. That's fantastic. The number is 10 to 20x. Stay inside and get great at it. There's a lot of folks, I got to tell you, that the field sellers who try to come into the inside struggle. It's a different job. It's sometimes a harder job. And I just trained a class with Michelin in South Carolina last week where they were talking about all of these guys were field sellers and they were excited to come inside. Whereas when I came up, and I bet a lot of my heads of sales out there were the same, it was the opposite, wasn't it? Like inside just wanted to get promoted to go out into the field. But telling you, the growth, you're where it's at right here on the inside. Here's a little bit about how it's different, right? We know this, it's not rocket science. It's harder to get a hold of contacts on the inside than just walking in and showing up face to face. Harder to ghost you when you're there in person. The sales cycles can take longer and there's more steps, right? We've got to get good at breaking down the sale into smaller bite-sized pieces of getting attention from people, because we catch them on the phone and we don't always get to stay with them, right? We don't have that face-to-face long meeting. So we've got to shorten our talk tracks, and we've got to do it all with an arm tied behind our back because we're losing those visual cues and influence, right? It's tougher here. And if you can get great at this, you can just crush it. And to do that, here's the big advice. Stop buying sales books in airports. Why? Because inside's different, and everything you're seeing out there, right? All of the different sales techniques in the new mastery book, they're written for the old school selling. There's very little that's focused on that inside or virtual role. It's how we've been successful at Factor 8 for 15 years because it's all we've ever done. So I'm going to ask you to invest in yourself for the virtual sales skills. And in doing so, I'm going to show you some payoffs. So it's a little braggy, a little humble brag on the next couple slides. But the whole point here is get great at what you're doing and watch the results come. So this is a little case study we did with Jess over when she was at Unitrends. We did 5 courses. These are tiny little modules, 5 little skills. And I'm going to talk about those skills today. But look at the increases in activity, in call length. The big thing here is pitch to MQL and deals closed. How many of you wouldn't mind getting customers calling you back as well? These are little skills that we're going to talk about getting better at for virtual selling and the difference it makes in the results. And here's one more for you. I love this. That's almost a 50% increase. This was a BDR team. Jess's was an AE team. Company record in MQL. So some of the skills I'm going to talk about here, I just want to prove you they work and they make a difference. All right. So that was shot number 1. Stay inside and get good at it. Master your craft. Find virtual skills to improve to get the results. Stop buying the books in the airport. All right. Shot number 2. You got to top the leaderboard. You cannot get promoted if you are in the bottom 50%. You don't have to be number 1, but you need to consistently be in the top 20%. You got to master where you are before asking. Now, in a little bit, I'm going to show you how to ask. But the key is ask for the path to earn the promotion instead of coming in and asking for the promotion. It happens a lot these days. We're all excited to move up, and that's cool. But let me tell you, your manager and your VP are rolling their eyes when you've been there for like 5 minutes and you've been asking for a promotion. I hear it all day long, folks complaining about that, okay? So I'm saying it so you don't have to, Mags and my other leaders out here. Come in and top the leaderboard. Get in the top 20% and stay there. You're going to pay your dues in your role at least 6 months and prove it wasn't a fluke. And then we're going to work on getting to the next level. But I don't want you to just top the leaderboard in results. We're talking about what to do to get promoted. And the first thing we do is top the leaderboard, and not just in results, but you also have to show the KPIs and you have to show the activity. Okay, so be in the top 20%, be there consistently, and be in the top 20% in all three of these areas. And here's the why. And my sales leaders, feel free to jump in and chat with me here and back this up. If you just have a couple great accounts or some great luck, you can hit the results. But when you show you're consistently putting in the activity, and when you show you're consistently doing the right things, which is what the KPI should be measuring, that's somebody we want to promote, not just somebody who got lucky. Cool? So let's jump in and look at what these things are specifically by role. All right. So we're going to break down the different roles. And I think you were just asking about this. How do we differentiate? Joel, you were saying differentiate between skills, attributes, traits, and characteristics. We're going to jump into that in a little bit. So let me kind of work my way through that. Sometimes when people talk about it, they overlap. Okay. I'm going to specifically look at skills within your control. You can make a difference and move that needle. Some people are looking for certain attributes like curiosity and coachability. And I'm going to talk about that with a sales leader in our girls club shot on Thursday, some of those key attributes that leaders are looking for. But I'm glad that you brought it up. All right, we're going to dig into BDR, AE, ISR, that full cycle, account manager, and even also earning that promotion to sales manager. Cool? So these are the ones we're going to chat in any comments and questions along the way as we go. Let's start with, I said, go get the results, right? If your company isn't crystal clear about what those results are, or maybe you just have activity and a quota or a goal, here are some of the KPIs that you should be looking at in between. So I'm starting with activity here. I mean, everybody knows about dials and talk time, but did you know you can also create a case for yourself and show success by inbound callbacks? People actually calling you back, right? That's going to increase your time actually selling with customers. We can look at the KPI of how many dials until I can keep somebody on the phone. I can look at a KPI of how many times I get somebody to conversation, which I usually do at over 2 minutes. Anything less than that's usually a voicemail or a brush off, right? Over 5 minutes, I'm digging in even deeper. Look at those conversion percentages. And if your company isn't getting those for you, measure them yourself. Even if you're post-it noting, folks, this goes on your brag board. Now, everybody looks at the number of meetings you may be setting as a BDR, SDR, but the quality of the meeting is really that new important metric. Are people showing up to the meetings, and are those meetings converting and turning into deals in the pipeline? We'll even look at efficiency, right? How many leads do you have to burn through until you are getting something done? So if some of these are new to you, take note, feel free to pop in a question. Is anybody in that BDR, SDR role, or who's measuring that role, have something else that's really important they measure in their company? Chat that in for me. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to keep moving. We're talking about the AE now. If you're an AE and we're looking to move up, let's measure your success. Yeah, activity, you're still looking at numbers of meetings, talk time, length of meeting. The big one, of course, is the conversion to the next stage. A lot of us AEs have to go and do our own prospecting now, right? So you got to put your own deals in the funnel. So you may look at what's your close percentage of ones you prospected yourself, or total activity or demos done, and what percentage of those that you found on your own. I love it when we see AEs getting quality KPIs, right? How good of a demo did you do? How well was your meeting run? How engaged were your prospects? So all those things that we talk about in call coaching can be turned into KPIs and dashboards. Now, always we're looking at that deal size, right? Not just how many converted to deals, but how big of a deal did we get? Sometimes we're looking at the penetration of a product, or how, not just how big the order was, but did we sell services? Did we attach? Could be add additional lines, a close percentage, and obviously it comes down to a revenue or a quota attainment as well. All right, if I missed something here, chat it in for me. We're going to move on. Account manager. Boy, a lot of folks are vying for these jobs. The account manager has so much less of the cold stuff to do, right? Account managers are given the book of business, and their job is to grow that business. Now, they'll still have activity measurements. You still got to have talk time. But the big difference when you're looking to get promoted in here is how often are you calling out to get that business, not just taking the inbound orders and service requests. List penetration, book penetration is a big deal for account managers, sometimes success managers, right? Those cross over in a lot of different ways. The net promoter score, the renewal rate. But folks, if we just wanted renewals and service, it would still be called customer service, right? There's got to be a sales angle to this. So we're looking for upsells. We're looking for cross sells. We're looking for expanded deals. We're looking for new buyers. We're looking for ways to grow the business and the footprint in the account, not just get the renewal. Product penetration is a big one as well. They bought this. How many of everything we can sell are they buying? And of course, then we also have the revenue and quota attainment. All right. Sales managers, bonus one for you. Guys, I didn't jump into ISR, and I didn't see anybody ask a question about it. I'm going to cover it really quickly. The ISR is that inside sales representative who does the full cycle. They have the BDR, they have the AE, and they have the account manager. You'll find these often at smaller companies, but I got to hunt it and I got to farm it. Really exciting role, but doing the full spectrum. Okay. Sales managers, what are we measuring? Well, of course, we're looking at getting to quota, but I like to see percentage of team to quota. A lot of sales managers who have 1 or 2 stars, right? And gee, they make their number because those stars overperform. But what percent of the team is at quota? Sales leaders, let's make sure we're looking at that. I love it when I see leaders looking at their managers' ramp time and turnover. So, right, their number one job as a sales manager is we got to hire, we got to fire, we got to drive performance, but our job is to care and feed, to coach, to develop, to help these people become better sellers and learn to love sales, right? Get great at it. So we need to measure that. Am I losing all the people on my team? Are they quitting? What do the skills look like on my team? Are you looking at managers, how often they're coaching and if their teams are getting better at their skills? So I love it when I see leaders doing that. You really have a learning culture when that's happening. Employee engagement, we get that through surveys, of course. And this one I love too, team promotion rate. Managers, I think you should be getting high fives and compensated when your people get promoted up into the next role. That means we're doing our job well. All right, that was a great big shot. And everything we were looking at were things to measure to show we're being successful. If your company doesn't measure them, you measure them because it's your job to show, right, what those success rates are. Hopefully you picked up something new as well that maybe your company doesn't measure, but that we shared somebody else does, and it'll give you some different insights. All right, shot number 3, to get promoted, you got to raise your hand. I got to tell you, I hear a lot of stories about folks who crush it and kind of just wait to get promoted. Wait for somebody to come to them. Wait for somebody to notice. And it just doesn't work that way. So what are the steps? How do we do this the right way? Because I did just say to you, you can't hit quota 3 times in a row and go ask to be promoted, right? You have to consistently be in the top 20% at least 6 months. And then you go raise your hand. And here's what it looks like. Hey, manager, I'd love to learn more about moving up, right? Talk to me about any career pathing that's already in the company. How do I earn, that's the key word, my way to this next position? And if it's not there, you go build your own. Let's dig into this question first. I stole this from Girls Club. One of the reasons I started Girls Club is that there are so many amazing women in revenue and sales. But as a gender, we tend to sit on our hands instead of raising them. We tend to wait until we've perfected it and wait for somebody to notice instead of saying, hey, me over here, I am crushing this and I'd like to get promoted. It's uncomfortable for us to ask. So we found this format that works really well. These are the steps. You introduce the subject. Hey, Mags, I really want to talk about my position and my future here with the company. I noticed that we've been growing, or I noticed that we've been interviewing some people from the outside. I noticed that we need or have some open positions in the AE role, right? Whatever that may be. And I feel excited about, or I feel a little burnt out in this role, or I feel eager to, whatever it is, right? I want to grow in this company. And the opportunity to grow is really important to me. Learning new skills is really important to me. Moving up the ladder, building my career in sales, whatever it is, right? But you just sort of talk about, hey, this is key. This is important. Please pay attention. And then you make your ask. Now, you don't ask to get the promotion right there. You ask to build a plan. Could we build a plan together to help me earn a promotion in the next year? This is where you ask questions. What's normal? How long does it usually take? Right? What are the steps? Is there any training available? But build a plan and get your boss on your side. You can go have this conversation with your manager. You can have this conversation with somebody else's manager that you're close with and you like. Go have this conversation with a couple of people who are in the role now. You want everybody in the company to know, hey, she's really going for it. She's focused and she's open to learning new skills and improving herself to go earn that spot. There's a big difference between entitlement. I've been here a minute, I've hit quota, where's my promotion, right? And curiosity and willingness to go do the work. And this is going to get you promoted every time. All right, so let's talk about this next step then. You got to study and you got to shadow the next level. So here's a good place where we can talk about some of those differences. There are skills, there is knowledge, and there are attributes. And attributes are a lot like characteristics, okay? Skills are, I can give a demo. An attribute is, I'm tenacious. Knowledge is, I can give you the feature, advantage, and benefit of our product set. Does that work? I hope that answers your question. But the point is, we've got to go find out what these are at the next level and study them, because the only thing here that's necessarily innate is that middle one, the attributes. And that's why you're going out and talking to people so they can see all those wonderful things. But there are gaps in the skills and in the knowledge along the way. And here's the hard truth. You do not get the promotion by doing this job better. You can be top of the leaderboard for years. Not going to get you the promotion. You got to show you're ready for that job. And it's hard when we realize that. Some of you may be feeling a little angry about that right now, right? I've been doing this and I've been crushing it for a while. What the hell? We've got to show that you're a fit for that job. Leaders, I know you're with me when you say we've all made the mistake of promoting somebody who was awesome at this level, but we hadn't really trained for, hadn't helped fill the gaps to the next level. Because when that happens, not only do we lose a top performer here, they fail here. Like there's an entire Peter principle that talks about that. All right, so we're going to go through what are the key skills in these different areas. And this is where my expertise lies, right? This is where I've been focused and getting sales results and pushing these skills. My job has been to figure out what are the teeny tiny little tactical things that are going to make the biggest difference the fastest, the 80-20 rule, right? We can improve this 20%, can it get us 80% of the results? So here we go. If you're trying to move up to a senior BDR or SDR role, here are some little tiny things that can make a huge difference in the skills. Voicemails and emails. So much of what we talked about that gets measured for BDRs and SDRs is conversion, right? You don't get a chance to do your job until you can get somebody on the phone. And to get somebody on the phone has very little to do with what a good salesperson you are. You've got to get them talking to you first. You've got to engage them. And there is an art to doing that well. And 90% of the outreach emails and voicemails are horrible. I have seen millions of them. Very small things you can do to make those better. And people will actually email you back, and people will actually call you back. And that's amazing. I showed a case study, although I didn't show it earlier, where we got 35% more calls back. So if you're getting 0 to 1 a week now, right? And we switched that to 3 to 5, 5 more conversations in a week is almost another selling day. Okay, that makes a huge difference at the top of your pipeline. Tiny skill, massive difference. The next 2 are the same. The brush off and the intro. Because y'all know sometimes you get somebody on the phone and whoops, they didn't mean to answer. They thought it was kids' daycare. It turns out, oh, I don't want to be sold at. They try to get off the phone, don't they? So how you open that call and how you deal with what they say first makes or breaks your career. It's not an overstatement because you either get to keep on that phone call and selling to them or not. Are you going to get shut down? Are they going to listen? Are they going to get engaged? Are they going to get rid of you as soon as possible? This teeny tiny little skill, those first 20 seconds, folks, makes the difference because 9 out of 10 sellers call up and talk about what they want. Has nothing to do with the value for the customer. It just screams sales call and people get off as quickly as possible. If you want to follow along, you can look at our 6-pack of courses that covers this at factor8.com/fill for Fill the Funnel. Teeny tiny little modules. If you're studying to get to the top of the list, go get these classes. We've got listening skills and then bridging to that next call and capturing new contacts. Critical to success and not often taught in the company and never talked about in sales books and airports. All right. What are leaders looking for in this senior BDR role? Close percentage, man, right? How many of your conversations are converting into meetings and how consistent are you? Then they're looking at quality, the show rate and how many are converting into pipeline. Some of those intangibles we're looking at. Do you have a plan for your day? Are you somebody who knows what they're doing and has an attack plan, a process that you've built so that you're like a machine, right? And do you lead with confidence? Those are some of those intangibles that you were talking about. Leaders, if you look for something different in your senior SDR, BDR, chat it in for. We're going to move on to our AEs, key skills. By the way, I told you on Thursday that we're talking about this. And Emmy and I just got off the phone. She's the VP who's coming in to talk about this with me. And so many great tips. She's been hiring and promoting BDRs to AEs for 10 years now. And she's got so many great tips about some of those intangibles and some deeper dive stories about these skills. But she agrees with this list, right? BDRs come in lacking some of that rest of the sales cycle. And the bummer is our companies don't offer the training to help us fill the gap. Discovery is the #1 place that we're missing. So discovery, business conversations, listening, and building value. All of these are happening at once in the conversation. And as a BDR, SDR, we're not having those conversations. So you may know the knowledge may be a lot about the product, but if you don't have the skill to have the business conversation, to ask the business questions, to really hear those answers, and then be able to connect what's important to the customer to your solution, right? That's what's missing when most BDRs are getting promoted to AE. Okay. The other 3 on here, also very, very important and absolutely easy to learn skills. Here's another one, 9 out of 10 demos out there. Not great. Get really good at your demo and customizing your demo based on the discovery conversation. Get really confident running meetings and not making silly mistakes like not sharing your slides. And storytelling, I think, is a real bonus. If you want to follow along and look at some of the courses, we picked out our favorite 6 for AEs. If you're going to go build this path for yourself, you're going to do it and go for it and get the training, go to factor8.com/OPS, OPPS. All right. What are leaders looking for AEs? Chat it in if you need to, if there's something you don't see, but it's close percentage, man. And they want to see how good you are at the discovery, that you have yourself a process. You can do your own lead gen, customize the demo, and here's the big one, forecasting. Are you good at forecasting? Not just, I had a good conversation and the deal's going to close. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. I'm going to move a little bit faster. Key skills in this role. Customer success and account management. One of the biggest and hardest parts here is just managing your day, okay? Because you may have a book of enterprise have 50, but I've seen 5,000 accounts. Isn't that crazy? There's no way you're going to get to all of them. So you've got to identify the opportunities. You've got to qualify them quickly. You have to be able to make time to hunt and grow because your customers will keep you all day busy just serving them. And you can't do it, right? You won't get ahead. So time management is key, consistent growth, and doing more than touching base. Those business conversations become really important here as well. And the discovery, uncovering that opportunity that's there, not just to take care of this need, but to find where the growth is. Really great courses on that at Factor 8 are call goals and growing account revenue. They are both in our 6-pack at factor8.com/expand. So if you're in this role and you want to get to the top, or you're going for this role, go get the training. What are leaders looking for? Well, growth is the key here, right? A lot of account managers think it's their job just to talk to their customers and keep them happy. But if you're not growing the revenue, you're not going to get the promotion. Penetration is for the book itself. I'm getting to enough of the contacts, or it could also be in the product set. How many different lines are you selling to them? Not just inbounding, but outbounding, holding and retaining the customers, and what percent are active? Here's the 9 out of 10 on this one. Account managers do 80% of their business with the top 20% of their book and never talk to these down here. If you can expand the percentage of your book who are actively buying, growing, and renewing, that's gold. And it all comes down to that non-tangible hunger and going after it, right? Are you treating this like a sales job or a service job? Want to get promoted to sales manager? If you love developing people, that's the key. But time management's even more important when you get to this. Sales management's the busiest job I've ever had. And I've started 3 companies. I'm a working mom. I've traveled the world for big corporations, but frontline sales management is the toughest one. It's also why we started Girls Club, helping people succeed there so we can continue to grow. So owning your day is my favorite class for sales managers, and it's part of our 6-pack, factor8.com/own. Time management is key. Developing your team, right? Training them and coaching them. Driving performance with numbers and goals. Hiring, managing all the different meetings you're supposed to have, and setting those expectations. Key skills to go and get. What are leaders looking for? Listen, consistently at plan, right? You can't be a sales manager. You can't get promoted if you're not consistently hitting quota and the percentage of your team at quota. Do you have a sales management system? Do you have a process? If you were a top rep, you probably had a sales process, right? That you managed your day and your book and your leads with. You gotta have the same in sales management. We teach that in essential manager meetings. Critical. But I'll tell you, it lives and dies in the forecast. Sales managers who really know their business give a good, consistently accurate forecast. Hope is not a strategy. And then the other thing we look for is, hey, are you spending time with the team, right? Are you behind your desk all the time? Are you just managing email and deals, or are you developing your people? And here's those intangibles you were asking about: the desire to learn and that work ethic, right? You want to keep moving up the ladder, you're going to be putting in more hours. I just want to give a quick nod to women in sales before we move on. Less than a third of jobs in sales are held by women. Isn't that crazy? And yet, women close more deals and hit quota more often than the men. Women as leaders score higher in the leadership competencies, and companies with women in the senior roles have a 35% higher return on equity. So, something to consider. Ladies, build your careers in sales. And that, of course, is what Girls Club is all about. All right, shot number 5. We've talked about building your skills. We've talked about working with the managers to build your path. Then you've got to go and apply. So I'm sorry, ladies, this one's for us again. You've asked for the plan. Don't wait until you get every one of these perfect before you apply. Gentlemen, you too, you just don't have as much trouble with it as us ladies do. There's a study that came out recently by HP, and it said that if there's a job posting, a man will apply if he has 60 to 70% of what's listed, right? If there's 10 things that they're looking for, I've got 6 or 7, I apply. Women don't apply until they have all 10. So I'm here to officially tell you, apply for the job if you can meet more than half the criteria. Go for it. If nothing else, you're going to learn about the experience. You're going to show that you want it. You've got nothing to lose. It's a learning experience, right? You're either going to succeed or you're going to learn. The last step when you're ready to get promoted, right? You've built the path, you've done the training, you've shown your interest, you've applied a few times. Start teaching. First of all, you'll learn more when you teach someone else. But it also makes sure that you're showing up as a leader. Again, it's one of those intangibles. You got to do it, right? So top the board, raise your hand, study the next level. Ask for the path and the feedback. Get serious about asking for real feedback. Teach others, and you cannot be stopped. If you'd like to get involved as a teacher in Girls Club, we'd love to have you as well. Come mentor for us and teach women in the next generation. All right, I dropped a lot of class suggestions that we've got for you available on the sales bar. And here's a look at those. If you're looking for senior BDR skills, factor8.com/Bill. If you're looking to move up to AE, factor8.com/ops. Come to our special webinar just on getting promoted to AE on Thursday. If you are going for account manager, factor8.com/expand. And then sales manager, factor8.com/own. Cool. This is going to help you get the skills that might not be available from your company. Love the promo code there too, but it does expire in I think next week. So don't forget that. Promotion is the promo code. All right. I want to open up the chat for any Q&A. We'll ask and answer anything you've got. I'm going to show you the next 2 slides while we get any questions typed in as well. I refer to this webinar. I want to tell you about Girls Club and our AE certification. Now, you may have heard of Girls Club before, and I know I've got some grads on the phone with us here today too. Girls Club for 6 years has been about helping women that are reps get promoted to manager. And for the first time ever, we're opening up a class this fall to help BDR, SDR get promoted to AE. So it's got all the magic of Girls Club, but a different skill set that we're focused on. It's an accelerated program. It's 4 months long, and you get time off for the holidays. This is something we do live. So everybody who's involved takes the same training that we just showed you, but then we get together live and we talk about it and we apply it and we practice it. We also get a dedicated coach along the way, and everyone is matched up with a mentor from outside their company. Somebody has been through that promotion to give them tips on getting it done. The support is incredible. Our goal is to help build confidence, build community, and build careers. We're really proud that we've helped over 500 women get promoted to manager already. And now we're going to put that magic formula to work for anybody who's in the BDR SDR role. So please go learn more about this now at wearegirlsclub.com/AE. Don't go to girlsclub.com at work. That is a very different site. wearegirlsclub.com/AE. And by the way, for my gentlemen out there, so my leaders who are listening, I know I've got some sales managers. If you're looking for this really accelerated program that gets them there faster, we are taking gentlemen in this program as well. Okay? Up to first 5 guys who apply. I like to keep the majority women because it helps us bond a little bit and build confidence. And 5 lucky guys are going to get to join this as well. So you can put people in this program. And yes, we do have group discounts. If my leaders are looking for help for more than 1 or 2 people on the team, this is exciting. You can bring my team and curriculum in-house, and now you can do it even if you don't have a budget. Factor 8 was approved to be a provider for the sales apprenticeship program. Apprentices is what you think it is, right? Like you've heard of plumbers and electricians, and right? It's a job training program that the federal government subsidizes. And we can use that for your existing employees to get training in these virtual selling skills. So there's a lot of folks whose training budgets were cut, or they might have a training team, but they're in charge of the HR stuff. Or they might have a training team, but they don't really understand virtual sales. And if that's the case, then you could use some skills for your whole team. We're talking 10 plus. You can DM me, you can email me, or you can go learn more at factor8.com/PSC, Professional Sales Certification. And it's not just a Factor 8 certificate, it's a Department of Labor certificate. So pretty incredible. And seriously, they subsidize it. So you can get this stuff without coming out of pocket. Now, if you're looking for yourself or you're looking for a team of less than 10, you can go self-serve these courses on the sales bar. So all of those ones we gave you before, factor8.com/fill and up and own, those are 6-packs. And the 6-packs of courses just takes a couple hours. But what's cool is you've got access while you're in there to not just a video, but this interactive, let me make decisions with it. You can actually listen to real recorded calls where they are practicing these skills and applying these skills. There's even call coaching forms. There's examples of what good looks like. There's activities to do. So it's really kind of a whole hub of everything you need to build your skills in these areas. And it's meant for self-service. So we're doing everything we can to get you the skills you need to get there. I'm going to check to see if we've got any questions in our last minute, but I'm here for you if I can help. If there's anything I can do, you can get me at lb@factor8.com. Thank you for being here. And I hope you will check out the training, build your skills, and let me know if we can bring it to you with this cool certification. We're super excited about that. Thank you for joining us. I hope to see some of you again on Thursday when we dig really deep into that transition between BDR and AE. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.